Thank you for pointing that out. And then if you could just spell your name for us, please.
Dustin, last name Poole.
And thank you for taking the time out of your day to be with us today. Where are you, just generally, currently?
Pennsylvania.
All right. Back in October of 2022, where were you living?
Raleigh, North Carolina.
And where specifically?
Henningham, 6036 Osprey Cove Drive in Henningham.
And when you lived there, did you know a Gabe Torres?
Yes, Gabe was my really good friend.
Okay. And where did he live in relation to you?
He lived to the left of me, not the house directly to the left that was conjoined, but the next one over.
Were these like townhouses?
Yes, sir.
Back on October 13th of 2022, were you working outside the home at that time, or what was your situation like?
I just became stay-at-home dad, and I was working part-time doing rideshare delivery.
And when you were a dad, so how old were your child or children at that point?
My daughter it just turned 2 at that moment.
And did your wife live there with you?
Yes, my wife was actually living in the same residence and was working upstairs.
Oh, so did she have a work from home type of thing?
Yes, sir.
What was at that time? What was your kind of just daily routine while you were being stay-at-home dad?
Me and my daughter would wake up. We would get breakfast. We would go do some type of outside activity. That specific day, we went to the library. We would come home. She would take a nap, and then we would go walk on the trail. Normally, go out, see nature. Try to get outside and do something else for the second part of the day. My wife works pretty long hours, 11-hour days. So that was our general routine, is try to split it with the nap in the middle.
Now, on this particular day, can you tell us what, if anything, did you notice going on outside?
So, at what time frame? At the time of things that happened, or at general?
Yeah, just let's start with when, as you said, things started to happen. What did you first see?
Okay, so like I said, as the day had started, we did our regular routine, went to the library. We then came home. My daughter, at that point in time, took a nap at the same time every single day. She didn't want to take a nap, so she ended up taking a nap very late in the day, and she had woke up probably around 4:45. We got downstairs, I got her settled, and then I was on the phone with one of my really good friends, just chatting up, seeing how his day was going. And as it got closer to 5 o'clock, I was in the kitchen. My daughter was in the living room watching a show, and I was starting to make her a snack. And right around 5 o'clock, as I'm starting to make her a snack, I look outside and I see a young man. He at that point in time looked like he might have been like 10, 11, 12. I couldn't really tell. He looked very young, and all camo, with a backpack on, and he was carrying a gun, and I saw it outside of my window.
Okay, let me stop you there. About when you first saw this person, how far away approximately was that person from where you were watching him?
Not that far. I would say maybe about 10 yards away from where my house was. He was walking pretty close to the border of my house. Okay. In the street that came into the end of the cul-de-sac.
And I was just going to ask that. So it's a cul-de-sac with these townhouses around it. Is that right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
And then what's behind those townhouses?
It's a trail.
Like the greenway?
Yes. It's been some years, so I forget what it's specifically called. The Neuse River Trail is directly behind the house, and there's one specific way to get through the houses behind our house that gets to the trail. And most locals know how to get down there from that specific spot.
Okay. So you saw this person walking, and you mentioned you saw that this person had a gun. What, if anything, do you remember about the gun? What kind was it, if you know?
I don't know. I just remember the gun was as big as the kid. It was, and that was the alarming part to me, is that it was pretty. It looked like if you put the barrel of the nose down and were to stand straight up, it would be as tall as the kid.
And I imagine that caught your attention.
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned that this person had a backpack on. Can you describe the backpack?
Don't recall much about the backpack besides it was a backpack. Just the fact that the kid was wearing all camo and had a backpack and had a pretty large gun he was holding and walking with.
Okay. And what, if anything else, did you notice while you're watching this?
I was just watching his path, and that he was walking straight, and then as soon as at this point in time, I saw Gabe's car at the same time, all the way on the opposite side of the cul-de-sac. The kid made a right turn and headed straight towards Gabe's car.
And what kind of car did Gabe have, if you remember?
It was a Honda Civic, not sure what year, but all white.
And so what did you see next?
As he made that right turn, and I was looking out the window as he was walking straight, and then when he made the right turn, I moved to look out the windows at my door. He had walked straight up to Gabe's car in the front, and then he had shot one time at Gabe, and then he shot a second time.
Oh, there you are. When you saw him walk through the cul-de-sac, can you describe how he was walking?
He was walking very slow at the point in time, and like I said, as soon as he locked eyes with Gabe in his car, he turned and walked right up to his car.
Okay. From where you were standing, were you able to see Gabe in the car?
There was a slight glare hitting it, so I could make out an image, because I knew at that point in time Gabe was working night shifts, so I knew that Gabe was in the car, but I was a faint image of him from the glare. I could see him, but it was like not particularly clear.
Okay. And you said this person fired once into the car. Is that right?
Yes. As soon as he walked up to the car, he fired once and then fired twice. And then
what part of the car was he firing into, if you remember?
The passenger side.
And then what did you see?
And then he walked to the side of the car and shot in the back window. And at that moment in time, I thought, oh, Gabe's daughter, Layla, was in the car. So I was in complete shock that this person just shot Gabe twice and now has shot Layla, his daughter.
What did you do when you saw this?
At that point in time, when the shots were going off, I was standing on my front step, and I yelled out of shock, "Yo!" Because I was in belief that now my best friend, Gabe, was possibly dead, and his daughter was possibly dead. And I yelled out, "Yo!" And as soon as I did, the kid turned and with complete accuracy and understanding where the voice was coming from, pointed the gun directly at me. And at that point in time, I was looking down the barrel of the gun.
How far away was he at this point from you?
I would say about 15 yards.
And when that happened, what did you do?
I ran in my house because, as I said before, I had just witnessed now a kid shoot Gabe and possibly his daughter. And my first thought was, my daughter's in the house, my wife's in the house, I have to get them to safety. I don't have anything in the house to protect myself, but at least we can get in there and hide. So I slammed the door, I ran in, I grabbed my daughter off the couch. My wife came running down the steps. She was screaming, and I'm yelling at her to get down, get down. We get upstairs, and I realized I didn't lock the door. And when I didn't lock the door, I'm thinking, okay, now this kid knows that I saw him, and he's going to try to come kill me. So I ran back down the steps, locked the door, ran back up the steps, and made sure my family was safe. And then as soon as I made sure they were hiding, I thought, I have to try to save Gabe. And if his daughter's in the car, I got to try to save them both. And I got on the phone with 911, and I called them, and I immediately said, mass shooter shot a police officer. I'm telling them what the name is, and as I am opening up, I looked out the window again to see if the kid was out there, and as I'm doing this, I'm still on the phone with 911. They're asking me if he's breathing, and I didn't even get to the car yet. So at that point in time, I saw that Jasmine had pulled into the driveway.
Okay, let me stop you there. So you knew that Mr. Tort, that Gabe was a police officer. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then you knew, you just mentioned Jasmine. Was that his wife?
Yes.
Okay. So you're on the phone with 911. Did you see where the shooter had gone?
No, at that point in time, when I looked out, I just was thinking, I got to get to Gabe, and I just got to make sure that kid's not out there so that I can get to Gabe safely.
At some point, did you go outside?
Yes, and that's when I opened up the door to look. I saw Jasmine, his wife, Gabe's wife, pull in the driveway. She had got out the car, and at that point in time, we locked eyes. She saw the car. She starts screaming. We are both running over to the car at the same time. And I'm on the phone with 911 at this point in time, trying to give them the status of what Gabe is and how's he doing.
What did you see when you got there?
Um, First, I obviously noticed the holes in the windshield, and then I noticed that Gabe was he was still breathing, but he wasn't talking. He wasn't able to make out anything, and Jasmine was trying to put her hand on where he got shot and possibly stop him from bleeding. I'm still on the phone trying to give the 911 everything that was going on, and just trying to see if we can get Gabe to respond to us at all, and he wasn't.
Did before this happened, when you saw the person who did this shooting, did they appear to have any conversation with anyone?
I didn't see. All I saw was him walking in a straight line and then make that right turn, walk directly to Gabe's car, point the gun at me after the shots, and I yell, yo, and then after that, I never saw him again. Or I didn't have any conversation with anyone.
He didn't say anything when you yelled at him?
Not that I recall. Just he looked dead in my eyes, and I saw the gun directly pointed at me. He was very aware and knew exactly where the voice was coming from, and without hesitation, I was looking down that barrel of that gun.
While this is all going on, and you're on the phone with 911, you guys are attempting to help Gabe. Well, first of all, was there anyone else in the car with Gabe?
Yeah, and while I'm still on the phone with 911, our good friend Brod had ran outside to help Gabe as well.
Okay.
So Jasmine and Gabe in the car, but at that point in time, while they were both in there, I was also still on the phone with 911 and also telling other neighbors. I was screaming as loud as I could, mass shooter, get in the house, because the shots were so loud, people had came outside. So I was trying to save as many people as I could to let them know that, hey, I saw this happen, please get back in your house.
But, and I guess the question, his daughter was not in the car.
No, I did not see the daughter in the car, and that was the one part that Jasmine was about to get the daughter out the car before she saw his car and just had the back door open. So she was still sitting in the car seat in Jasmine's car.
Okay.
Thankfully.
While this is all going on, what if anything do you hear that drew your attention?
So while I'm on the phone with the police, telling neighbors to get back inside, I hear another gunshot.
And how long after you saw these gunshots into Gabe's car do you think that the second set of gunshots went off? I mean, was it a short period of time? Was it several?
Yeah, definitely a short period of time. It wasn't a long period of time. It seemed like by the time I looked at the gun, got to my family, came back outside, called 911, and then was yelling, it couldn't have been a couple minutes before I heard the next gunshot go off. And it was in the distance down the trail.
It sounds like you and your daughter spent a lot of time out in that neighborhood. Had you seen this person before this person you described with the gun?
No, sir. I never seen him before. That was all, the way the neighborhood is shaped, you normally see people who walk or on the trail all the time, who cut to the backyards to get to the trail. It was a very friendly, nice community. So you get to know your neighbors. I was there almost a year and a half before this transpired. So, I knew pretty much everybody in the flow of the neighborhood, but I had never seen him before. That was another reason that drew my attention.
Well, and I imagine it wasn't common to see people walking around with long guns in the neighborhood. Is that fair?
No, not at all.
I want to get back to, you mentioned that Jasmine's daughter was still in her car when Jasmine got home. Did you help out with caring for Jasmine's daughter there that evening?
Yeah, so after the ambulance had came and the police had came and I directed them to where the shooter was and everybody was running down the trail, they had taken Gabe and took him out the car, tried to give him CPR. Then they put him in the ambulance, and at that point in time, when Jasmine was about to leave in the ambulance and go to the hospital, or I don't know how she had transitioned to the hospital, but the last thing I remember was that while she was going to go to the hospital, she had came over and handed us, my wife and me, Layla, and I vividly remember Jasmine crying and having blood all over her, and there was blood all over the diaper bag and on the bottles, and it was a very horrific scene to be handing her child over to us, and then we were responsible for taking care of her for the night. And one of the things that really messed me up with this whole situation, there was a lot of things, but having to now go in the house and be Uncle Dustin, put on Moana, make pizza, dance, try to make my daughter in her lap, knowing that I just saw her dad killed in front of me. And it's just something that just that transition of being in complete shock of what happened, and then now trying to go inside and be normal and be caring for this precious girl that just lost her father. And we took care of her all night. She had to sleep there until we sleep over, and that was the first night ever Jasmine has let Layla leave her side and entrusted people to take care of her.
After this happened, did you take? I imagine the police had some questions they wanted to get some information from you.
Yes, the police and detectives did come and talk to me. There was a few. I don't specifically recall which ones I talked to, but then about probably around later that night, maybe 8 o'clock, I'm assuming. I don't have a specific time, but it was, if the incident happened around between 5 and 5:15, 5:30, that it was a few hours later before the police came to talk to me, and then they took me over to the police station. I talked with one of the detectives, and then they brought me home.
When this was going on, did you have any idea that anything else had gone on in the neighborhood or was going on in the neighborhood that evening, like this?
No, besides the other shot down in the down on the trail that I heard, I just assumed that I've been in education since 2012, so we do sadly we do school school shooting prevention, so that's why when I called 911, I knew this was a mass shooter. This was just a random act of violence. That's why when I heard it, I didn't know that it had transpired prior, so that things had happened prior to this. But I knew when I heard the shot later that someone else had possibly lost their life.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. Your Honor, I don't have any further questions.
Your Honor, we do have a couple of questions.
All right. Mr. Poole, let me make sure you can hear Ms. Lynette or Mr. Thomas.
Mr. Thomas, yes.
All right, Mr. Thomas will have some questions for you on behalf of the defendant. Mr. Thomas.
Yeah. Mr. Poole, can you hear me all right? I'm sitting on the other side of the room.
Barely.
Okay, I'll scoot up.
I can add to the WebEx.
All right.
You want me to do
I'll
that?
just scoot up.
Okay.
Yeah, nah, you're fine. Thank you. Mr. Poole, you had been interviewed by the police on a couple of times on this, about this event, correct?
Yes, sir. One time.
Okay, one time. Do you recall going to the police station and giving a recorded interview at some point?
Yes. Who am I speaking to? I couldn't hear
Oh,
first.
I know you still can't see me. I'm Deontay Thomas, and I represent Mr. Thompson.
Okay.
We're in the same. Go
Mr.
ahead.
Thompson. The kid. I don't know his name.
Yes, Austin Thompson. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And you reported the same things to the police officers that you've said here in court today, correct?
Yes.
And I think you had said that when you first saw the kid that you were talking about, he looked really young, like he was 10 or 11.
Say it one more time.
You said he looked really young, like he was 10 or 11.
Yes.
Okay. And you had said that the weapon that he was carrying is about as tall as he was.
Yes. Yeah, I couldn't tell his age. He looked like a very young kid.
Okay. And you're basing that on just the height and proportions? What were you basing that on?
Just height and proportions.
Okay. And you had said when he saw your friend, you were talked a couple of times about him making a right turn. Explain that more to us. Like, how would you describe that?
So if you're walking in a straight line and then the position of where Gabe's car was he was walking on a closer line to where my house was. So he would have to walk about almost 5 to 10 yards to get to Gabe's car. So he was walking in a straight line back to where the trail was. If he had kept going straight and would have went in between the houses down to that secret trail that gets to the main trail that everybody knew about. But instead he made a direct right turn towards Gabe's car that was sitting on the opposite side of the cul-de-sac.
And that sounds about right. So would you say he like made a 90-degree angle turn and headed towards Gabe?
Yes.
And you had said that once you saw those shots being fired that you had called out to the kid, correct?
After the last shot.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And so you say he did react to you. He didn't say anything to you, correct?
Not that I recall him saying anything, but he did react by locating my voice and looking at me and pointing the gun at me.
Okay. So I assume you presume that he heard you whenever you had called out to him, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you said he didn't say anything, just pointed the weapon at you?
Yes. I don't recall whether he said anything, but I just remember specifically him pointing the gun at me, looking at me directly in my eyes, and knowing the location of where I was standing.
And you had mentioned with Mr. Bum, the entire time you were looking at him, he was walking very slow.
Yes.
And I think you had described it to other police officers at some point as being slow and nonchalant.
I don't recall.
Okay. But you would just say slow, not necessarily
Yeah.
nonchalant.
Just a slow walk.
Okay. And I think you had also described him at some point with the officers as walking like a zombie.
I don't recall.
But he never gave any reaction to you or that you saw with the officer that day, did he? With Gabe.
Can you say that one more time?
You never saw any kind of emotion, or you never heard him say anything to either yourself or Gabe during this time, correct?
He didn't say anything to me, no, or I didn't notice that he said anything to Gabe before he shot him. But when he, like I had said before, when he had turned with intent, and he showed emotion for sure in his face when he had pointed the gun at me.
Okay. And he didn't fire the weapon at you as far as you know, correct?
No, sir.
Hold on one second. No further questions. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bob, anything further?
No, Your Honor, nothing further.
All right, Mr. Poole, thank you very much. You're free to go, sir. We appreciate you being with us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Further evidence, Mr. Latour?
Your Honor, the state will call Broderick Green. Good morning, Mr. Green. Place your left hand on the Bible. Raise your right. Face the Madam Clerk.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you give the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
Just that microphone if necessary, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Latour?
Thank you, Your Honor. When you're comfortable, Mr. Green, if you will tell the judge your name and spell it for the court reporter.
Yes, sir. Broderick Green, Broderick, Green.
Mr. Green, in October of 2022, where were you living?
In Hedingham, 6024 Osprey Cove, and I still reside there.
Still live there?
Yes, sir.
All right. And who were you living with?
My fiance, Maya Craig, she's in the courtroom as well.
All right. And did you, you were just in here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you able to see the last person's testimony?
Yes, sir.
Did you know Mr. Poole?
Yeah, I know Dustin very well.
All right. And where did you live in relation to where he lived?
He lived 3 doors over. Gabe was actually my next door neighbor, him and Jasmine and Layla. And then next door was someone else, and then Gabe lived on that other side of that person. So 3 doors down to the right.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you if you can slow down just a little bit for the court reporter, because she's got to type down everything you're saying.
I'm so sorry.
Okay? And so you speak a little bit fast, so just
I've been told.
take a beat and answer the question. Thank
Yes,
you. So you lived 3 doors down, and Gabe was and Jasmine were your immediate next door neighbors.
Yes, sir.
And how long had you lived there?
At that time, we moved there 2021, so right at 2 years and 2 months.
Okay. And how close were you with Gabe?
We weren't necessarily the closest, but by us being next door neighbors, we spoke. Actually, that July we had just gotten a little closer. We all had spent time for the 4th of July together. We did fireworks in the cul-de-sac, all that. So not the closest relationship, but we were on a we got to know each other along the time. So we would talk about different things, mostly high and by, but we did have side conversations sometimes.
Okay. So if you are in your house and you're looking out into the cul-de-sac, right? Is there one road that feeds into that cul-de-sac, obviously, right?
Yes.
And from what direction does that road feed into the cul-de-sac from if you're looking out your front door?
So there's 2 actually. Well, it's just the same road, but it's all. So there's Black Wolf Run. That's the turn. That's where you would turn off of.
Can you start over on the answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So if you're looking out of my home, you can go to the right. There's an outlet street that leads to Black Wolf Run. If you continue straight out of my door, it continues Osprey Cove all the way down.
Okay, so it's kind of the joinder for
Yes.
Osprey Cove and Black Wolf Run, which kind of feeds into your cul-de-sac.
That's correct.
All right. And were you home on October the 13th of 2022?
Yes, sir, I was.
And when you were home, did you at some point see Gabe Torres's car?
Yeah, but I was after the fact, after he had been shot already.
I understand.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did see his car.
All right. And in what direction was his car facing when you saw it?
Once I saw it, it was in the cul-de-sac, facing like towards going to Black Wolf Run.
Okay.
So how I explained the street, it was facing that way. It's like he had backed up, and now that I know, he was waiting for Layla and Jasmine to come home so he could go and report for his shift.
Okay. And while all this is going on, just before you see the car, what are you doing?
I was actually asleep. So me and both my fiance were both supposed to be outside at that time. It was her birthday. So I was telling her to, go so I could set the house up, get everything prepared for her and everything like that. Thankfully, I didn't wake up in the time that I was supposed to, so she didn't want to leave without letting me know. So she stayed, essentially saving both of us, just to state that for the record.
Okay.
But-
And so when she stayed, at some point, how did you become aware that something might be going on?
She heard it. She woke me up.
Okay.
So I was still asleep. She was trying to wake me up already, but then when she heard that, she's never heard anything like that. So she's like, I think I heard shooting outside.
Okay. And so she wakes you up and tells you she thinks she heard some shooting.
Yes, sir.
Do you wake up at that point?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And when you wake up, what's the first thing that you do?
I go to our second bedroom window. So by that time, when I arrived at the window, Jasmine had just gotten to the driveway. She just completely pulled in to the driveway. So maybe like a minute, 2 minutes had just gone by. By that point, I was able to see Jasmine get out of the car. At that point, she doesn't know that anything has happened.
Okay. Well, let me stop you
Yes,
there.
sir.
When you look out the window, you see Jasmine's car. Do you see anybody else outside at that point?
I don't believe so. I heard some screams, and I think I may have seen some people running. I don't recall for sure. I just know by the time I got to the window, I wasn't sure. So I would say no. I didn't confirm that I saw anyone.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So when you look out the window, you kind of are able to see that Jasmine has pulled into her driveway.
Yes, sir.
Do you know what kind of car she was driving?
I believe she had a burgundy, if I'm not mistaken, a Highlander, Toyota Highlander.
Like a SUV type?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so you're looking out, you see that. Are you able at that point to see Gabe's car?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And do you notice anything about Gabe's car at that point?
At that time, I couldn't, like Mr. Poole had stated, there was a glare. So from my window, and there's like a tree, so it was covering, and then he had a little tint, so I couldn't necessarily see that there was a hole. I couldn't necessarily tell exactly what had happened.
All right. So when you see Jasmine there, what's the next thing that you notice?
So Jasmine tried to motion for him. She's trying to wonder, why is he not pulling up to say bye, things like that. She's just motioning for him to come on, and he doesn't move.
Like waving her
Yeah,
hand.
like waving
to
her
come
hand,
over?
hey, what are you doing? Come on, so something like that. So when she notices that, then that's when it kind of clicks that something's not right. So Jasmine makes her way over there.
And you're watching this from
I'm watching
your
this
window?
whole thing, and I'll never forget this. As soon as she got to the car, the scream, it came through the house. Of course, to be expected. She was hysterical, just finding her husband that way.
And when you hear this scream, what do you do?
My first thought, I didn't necessarily know what happened, so I told my fiance, I said, something's wrong. So I go downstairs, and I grab my firearm, and then I proceed to go outside.
Okay. And how far from your front door was Gabe's car?
Not even from my front door, I would say 15 feet.
All right. And so you go outside, you've got your firearm. Where's Jasmine at this point?
She's still in the car. She's still
In
trying
what
to aid
car?
in Gabe's car.
Okay, so she's gone into Gabe's
Yeah,
car?
she's in the passenger seat at this point, and she's trying to assist him. She's just realizing what's happening, and I got to give it to her. She went right into rescue mode. She did everything she was supposed to do.
Okay. And when you get out there, you see her. What is, at this point, are you looking to figure out if there's any danger out there?
Yeah, but by the time I got out there, Mr. Poole had already told me he was almost, he's of course frantic, but he's almost to my door. He's in between like my house and theirs. So he tells me as soon as I come outside, he said, some kid just shot Gabe. So instantly my instincts kicked in, and I was prepared to do whatever I needed to do to protect us at that time.
Did you see anyone that you could protect your family from at that point?
I didn't see him. He was gone by that. He was out of my vision, out of my sight.
All right.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So now that you're out there, you've looked around, you don't see anyone, but Jasmine is in the car. What do you do?
I go to help her.
Okay.
As soon as I go, I'm trying to assist her.
Describe for us slowly how you get to the car and what type of assistance, if any, you attempt to give Gabe?
It was just like a fast-paced walk. I mean, I'm going with intention. So I'm getting over there. I open the door, and like Dustin stated, Gabe's not responsive. He's still alive. He's still breathing. Jasmine is going into rescue mode, and she's doing everything that you can possibly do in that moment.
Such as?
Jasmine.
Such as
So she's trying to hold him. She's telling him that she loves him. Then she asked me to help him because she's trying to look for different. Well, I think first I'm gonna start back up. First, she asked me to look for his radio, and in the moment of panic, we couldn't get it on. Neither one of us. So
did you find a police
I
radio?
found it in the back and in his duffel bag. So at that point, we switched positions. She asked me to hold his neck, and I give her the radio to see if she can get it on.
Is he bleeding
Yes,
heavily
sir.
at this
Yeah,
point?
he's bleeding out of the neck. It's streaming down to the point where we didn't know if there was another wound. So Jasmine, at that point, asked me if I can tear his shirt. Initially, I couldn't do it because my nerves. But only thing I could think about, I can't not give an attempt, and this is going on. You know what I'm saying? This is her husband. I have to do what I can to help. So from somewhere, I got the strength from nowhere, and I was able to tear the shirt, and we discovered that there was not another wound at that time. It was just streaming down.
Okay.
So it was just from the neck.
And so at this point in time, are both you and Jasmine in the car?
Yes, sir.
And are you both attempting to stop the bleeding?
Well, at that point, we're just trying to hurry up and get the ambulance there. So I'm holding his neck. There's people driving by, and I don't know if anyone has put this on the record. There's a neighbor who located the kid within no time. I mean, she came by, asked us what happened, and by the time 2 minutes passed, she was back to tell us the location on the kid.
Where did you find out that the shooter may have gone to?
By the park. And then by that point, when she came back, sorry.
Hold on. When you say by the park, what do you understand that to mean?
There's a park in our neighborhood. So, like, if you come, I'm going to explain since you all don't know. So, if you come out of our street and go to Black Wolf and go all the way up, then there's another street that's Linville Ridge. That's where the park is located.
Okay, so your understanding was that after this, maybe somebody found him at that park.
Someone.
That's what you were told.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. So back to what you were doing, though. You're inside the car attempting to stop the blood.
We're just trying to hold it and hold it in place until the authorities can get there.
Okay. And is it just you and Jasmine at this point?
Yeah, at that point, Mr. Poole had gone back in the home. He was on the phone with the police still, but he was just checking on his family and everything.
What is your girlfriend doing at this point in time?
She went and actually got Layla out of the car. She did that when I first went outside. When I first went outside and I got to the car, I turned around and I think I might have asked her, Jasmine might have even told me. She was like, Layla's in the car. So I yelled and I told Maya to go get her. So initially, Layla went into our home until Jasmine was supposed to go to the hospital. So then once she went to the hospital, that's when she came and got Layla and takes her over to the Pools.
Okay. So you and Jasmine are out there rendering first aid. Mr. Poole's in his house. Your girlfriend and Layla are together and safe in the house.
Yes, sir.
Is this a calm situation for you, or are you panicked? Kind of
No,
how
it's
it
not a
walks
calm
through
situation at all. I'm at this point, I'm very much panicked because I've never seen anything like this up close and personal. Now, I work in funeral business, so I see the after effect, but I've never seen it like this. So at that point, mine's kind of going all over the place, but I'm able to keep myself together.
And so at some point, do and the EMS and police officers arrive?
Yes, sir.
And when they arrive, do you at that point, are you able to back up and kind of let them do their job?
I had to kind of redirect because when they first got there initially, they were panicked as well, and it's perfectly normal. But they asked me, they requested for me to take him out of the car. And from what I know, when someone's injured, you can't just move them any kind of way. So since they were the professionals, then I backed up and I told them that they could go ahead and do that.
And so you backed away and they did that?
Yes, sir.
And at some point then, after all of this, you said Jasmine goes to the hospital?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What do you do right after all of this?
I stayed home. We weren't able to leave. The whole scene was roped off. I had family members trying to, get to us and things like that. No one could get in or out the neighborhood at that time besides who had to.
Has this, you said you lived there then and you'd been there about 2 years and you still live there.
Yes, sir.
Has there been a change in that neighborhood or the way that people behave there since all of this?
For those who are affected, yes. It's very heavy. The ones who were not affected, they go through like nothing's happened, but it's not the same for us. We'll never get that feeling back. Like Mr. Poole stated, our neighborhood was like a mini suburb. So, you know, you can easily go through and drive through and see everybody outside. Everybody. I'm talking about everyone walking their dog. Everyone has a dog in our neighborhood. So everyone's out there every day almost until nightfall.
So it's a pretty busy neighborhood?
Yes, sir.
As far as foot traffic?
Yes, sir.
All right. But with it being that type of neighborhood, did you ever, and your house was pretty close to the Greenway, we've heard.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever see people walking around out there with firearms like this?
Nah, that was literally the first time. I'm not even joking. Like, our neighborhood was like the safest place you could have been. And since then, it doesn't feel that way anymore.
Okay. I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
Question?
No question.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.